We are live according to the YouTube machine. How is everybody doing? Can you hear me okay? This is a check. Can everybody hear me all right? Put it in the chat. Corey, what's going on? Helix Band, aka Brian. Thank you for your Go Panthers BS and your Buck stuff. Thank you very much for that. Ryan McClanahan, good to see you, buddy. Hope you are good. Today, guys, the king is back. Steve is back. He dropped a video about altering cards today or yesterday, and then he said, hey, let's jump on a live stream. So we're coming in all the way hot. I'm going to go ahead and bring Steve out as well as Rob, Neo Cards and Comics. Oh, there's the wrong one. There we go. What's up, guys?
The king. It's been a while.
The return of the king.
Yeah, I don't like the title of the king because I don't feel like I'm the king, and then that puts a lot of pressure on me. And I'm just chilling on the sidelines, or I have been. It's actually been pretty comfortable over here, and I just want to have some fun, get back into why I did content to start,
yes,
and why I collect cards to start.
And that video was hilarious. I was like, is he going to eat the celery with the hot sauce? Like, I knew you were going to spin off of it somehow, but then you actually put it on the card, and I'm like, well, hell, maybe he is going to fix this thing with this, whatever.
Oh yeah, I thought Josh Allen needed a little fixing up after this weekend, and what better than do it than with some buffalo wings, right?
If you need Browns tiers, I can sell them to you in bulk.
Oh yeah, well, see, that's the
their
thing.
High supply.
The Bills tiers are hard to come by. I haven't been able to land any since like the mid '90s, right? When they were just very plentiful back then.
All right, we're going to get into football, but first, let's cover the heavy thing first, real quick. Let's just touch on it, Steve. How is your brother doing? It sounded like it's been good. When I've talked to you, it's been like positive news.
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, so just a short story leading up to now. We had the National. We all hung out. That was awesome. I came home from the National. I was slightly sick. I know Neo, you were for a while too.
I got my ass
had that congestion, but I was not COVID positive. I was fine. I got back to work. Everything got going. I went on vacation to Tennessee. That was great. Had some wild stories there with the family. The day that I came back from vacation was the incident with my brother. So that was pretty crappy. And then the very next day, I woke up not feeling well and ended up testing positive for COVID. So I had that stretch. And then work, my job is pretty demanding. So especially sometimes when I'm only getting one day off a week, because we're very short on managers at the casino when other people take vacation. And then I've been house hunting. When I started, I got back into cards from a flipping standpoint, not collecting. But when I was like, hey man, I'm going to try to make some money from this, I had a goal that I wanted to reach. Like I said, man, if I could reach this amount of money, that would be great, but it's very unrealistic. But then the market took off. I ended up doubling my goal. So at that point I was like, I'm going to pull back because I'm getting a little bit of burnout. Once I got to my original goal, my cam went off. I do. But once I got to my original goal, I was like, man, let me double this. And I did, but it was such a grind with my job. And then all the family stuff on top of it with my brother and things. And then the lack of content keeping me interested in the hobby. I would wake up every day and want to watch all the YouTube videos. And then I was waking up every day hearing the same. It just became very dramatic, and drama causes stress. And so I just took a step back. And then when I wanted to come back, it was a hobby burnout. I needed a refresher on the hobby and life. It was both. And so I come back today with a video, and it was just meant to be all fun. And I didn't want people to watch the video and be like, oh my God, you clickbaited me into watching this. So I even, fair enough, put in the title, clickbait warning, things like that. But it was just mainly to be entertaining and funny. And it wasn't meant to be anything.
Yeah. Actually, you don't have to apologize. That's just called marketing. That's what I tell people. And they're like, it's one thing if you're like, look, I bought if the title's like, I bought $1 million card and you bought a $5 card, that's clickbait. But like a lot of it's just marketing. You put a little twist on the title. If it's just like card video number 7, no one's clicking on that. Look, we're in a competitive space here.
Well,
I gotta get those views from Dustin.
Well, like my channel, I think a lot of people expect from my channel is, they're always expecting me to be honest, but they, I never really give recommendations, but I always try to be informative. And I was just hoping that the people who watch me for the informative side didn't come into this and be like, oh man, I wanted to watch this for the informative side that Steve usually gives me. And instead I got a troll video. And, so I kind of wanted to put the warning in the title.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Let's say hey to chat real quick. We'll kind of roll through here. Talatiga, the boys are back in town. Love it. Good to see you. Crazy Kev. Hey. What's up? It's like I'm watching Drew Brees, Dr. Marvel, and Dan Marino all at once. You guys are great. Appreciate it, Chris. I need extra hot sauce. I know. I was watching that video and wondering, like, where is this going? Jim Goodfellas. Good to see you. Kamikaze, why doesn't AIH go after Sports Card Invest for pumping? You got to talk to Raul about that. I'm sure it's on the list. Talk to him. Maybe he's got something in the works. Sharp and centered. CNT, what's going on? Alex, Global Sports Card Investor, tongue-tied. Tom, good to see you. Pete's Junk Treasure, good evening, gentlemen. Good to see you. Garrett, I like that the screaming pickle or whatever that is. How's it going, y'all? Has Lemons bought anything from any of you yet? I'm assuming you're talking about Lemons the cat.
Oh, yeah, it's got to be Lemons the cat.
Love those Lememe memes. Hi, Steve and Dustin. Good evening. Oh, there's Perk. Good to see you.
Hey, what's up, Perk?
McCracken. Sorry, I'm trying not to miss people, but then also not trying to skip over ones I've already said hello to. Mangini, What's going on? Good to see you. Big John Collector Cards. Hello. Oh, Dex is in the house. The 3 Live crew is back. That's it. Stephen Pitts. I've missed the live streams. I haven't done one on my channel in 6 weeks. I actually looked back at it and I've been slacking hard. We're going to get, but hey, cold weather coming. We're going to be doing pre-hot tub live streams or post-hot tub live streams. I'll probably be a little bit lit for those, but they're coming back. It's wintertime. Winter's coming.
I think my last one was like a month ago. September 6th, I think, was like my last live stream.
And I love doing them too. It just doesn't, I don't know. It's hard to do it sometimes.
They're hard to squeeze in.
Yeah.
There's only so much time in a day.
I got kids. I got the wife. It's not easy to just do live streams all the time. Hobby Champs, good to see you. I love podcasts. Cues, cards, and slabs. Love being with other hobby enthusiasts who are in it for the right.
Uh-oh.
Was that me? Okay. Is that me? Or
Dustin? Did we lose Dustin?
I don't know. You better take over.
Oh, no.
Back up.
We lost Dustin.
Back up, man. I would like to say, so I don't have to cut him off.
Go for it, Steve.
Because he's going through.
Are we good?
We're good. Okay.
All right. So the key with I've got fiber, so I don't know what the problem is.
Right
Not
now,
like
you look
fiber
like you're a hostage.
I'm eating a lot of fiber.
Somewhere.
Yeah. So all I got to do is just switch it off and back on again. So if you lose me, I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. Rob, what's going on? Other Rob? Great to see you guys together in Collector's Dream. And Michael Stone, good to see you. Oh, okay. Rob actually asked a question. Next show you guys are going to, let's go ahead and seg into that.
Doesn't it look like he's in like a terrorist camp or
something?
It's
like hold that thought for a second.
But he's got like the grainy iPhone video. Like I feel like he's going to be holding up today's newspaper.
Yeah, that's like me because I only use the light from my computer monitor, so my face is always like super white. Like look how bright. Like,
all right,
gotta get the light.
I hear you. Good. Yeah. Okay. You're going good.
There you go. He's back.
If it happens again, I'm going to run downstairs. All right, I'll run downstairs.
Right. We'll carry the ship.
That's right. Okay. I don't know. It's funny. I only have problems when I'm on live.
No, he's running downstairs.
All right, Steve, tell your story.
Yeah, it's not a story, but anyway, I mean, as he's going through these names, I mean, the amazing part for me, especially since I haven't done much in a month, and is the people. So many of these names are familiar, and again, that's what kept me putting out content to begin with, was coming back to interact. Because I had established almost friendships with my viewers, even though we had maybe never met. And when I did my live drive the other night, when I let off my live drive, I was nervous. I was like, man, this feels like the first YouTube video I shot. I don't even want to hit go live. I'm so nervous to talk again. It's been so long.
It's like riding a bike, Steve. It's like riding a bike.
Right. And when I started seeing the people in the chat, that's what got me going and talking again, was being comfortable. I was like, man, I know all these people here. They know who I am. They know what to expect. You know, they know how I'm going to be, and it just made it that much easier. So like, it's always about, you know, the people that watch your videos. You know, if the people didn't watch your videos, you know, it's just awesome.
You know, I don't think any of us ever thought that we would get to the size channels that we all are. That's the one part that I didn't really know that was coming, was like the friendship side of it. You know what I mean? Like I just never realized that could be a thing until it was. Just like all of a sudden, it's just like, oh, like I'm like genuinely friends with these people that I just randomly met on the internet that I would have never met if I just never hit record on a YouTube video.
All right, we've moved. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
I'll see how long you last this time.
I'm all the way downstairs. I'm very close to the modem now.
This is direct connection.
This is making me nervous. I need my Ethernet cable. I don't understand. I put the AOL disk in the side of it, and it said that it was dialing up. So I don't know what happened.
AOL, like America Online, does that still exist?
It does at my house. Sure does.
Oh, okay. Or is that a joke that I missed?
Yeah, I'm totally kidding. All right, so
we were talking on AIM earlier.
So what happened? So what's the next show? What's the what did you guys go with?
Oh, we didn't answer yet. We were waiting for you. We were just vamping.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead.
Steve, you have anything cooking?
Well, okay. Philly was this weekend and I missed it. And that's probably the first Philly show I've missed in 2 years. And I didn't even know the show was happening. That's how sad that was. I saw Instagram post. Mainly, the first one I saw was from Kenny, posting some of his pickups. And I was like, damn, Philly's going on. And I didn't get the day off work. And I can't believe I'm missing the Philly show. They've relocated it to a better location. And I missed it. So I don't know how the deals were, how the crowd was. I'm wanting to go to Chantilly, which is mid to late October, I believe. I have to double check the date, but I believe Chantilly is going to be a go for me. That'll be that right now. That's the plan. But you know, life throws you curveballs. You never know when you're going to have to adjust. And Dustin isn't moving again.
No, Dustin's gone again. That's a very good freeze pose, though. I'm not going to lie.
He looks exactly like that wax sculpture that I posted on Instagram.
He does look like a wax sculpture.
He looks exactly like the one I posted on Instagram. When I was in Tennessee, we went to the Hollywood Wax Museum, and there was a wax sculpture that looked just like Dustin. And just now when he was frozen, he looked just like that.
I don't know what's going on, guys. You might just have to run this thing for real.
You don't have like a hardwired connection? Try it from your phone. Just take your phone off Wi-Fi and just use your phone.
Maybe I'll do that. Let's do that. All right, keep talking.
Okay.
What's so actually on that note, I was going to ask you, what's the game plan? Steve, I saw that you're basically like selling quite a bit of stuff that's not like music stickers and like stuff that you really want. Like, how are you adjusting to, you know, the times? You know, what's changed for you for both of you, really, as far as your buying habits and all that stuff?
For me, I'm not selling my pop culture stuff because that's the stuff that I collect. I'm not selling off my collection, and even sports cards that I feel are big pieces of my collection. I don't think Dustin's with us anymore, but
just keep going. Just pretend he's sitting there.
But what I am selling is just lower end slabs, things that's coming back from grading, things that I don't really care about. It's all being consigned because, like I said, I'm very tight for time, so it's all going out in basically 20 slab orders at a time. I've sent 20 slab orders in, so I've sold 60 miscellaneous slabs, anywhere from $50 to $200 probably through consignment. And I'm still buying sports cards. It's not like I've stopped, but I'm just looking for the deals. You know, everybody's always looking for the deals, but I want nice cards that I find special, and that's going to be a different definition for everybody. And, you know, at a good price. I recently bought an immaculate dual on-card auto of Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas, numbered out of 25. And I already had one, but I bought another one because the price on it was so good that I feel like that card is just a nice card to have. It's underappreciated. Got it for a really good price, almost half of what I paid for my first one. So I'm like, prices are coming down on some good cards, and it's not stuff that I'm in a hurry to sell, but it's stuff that I think has some more longer term value to it. And we're all traded, even if for as cheap as I got that card, if I send it to SGC for $23 or whatever on bulk, a lot of those types of cards you can almost get a 50% extra value out of just for slabbing them. You take a dual auto, you buy it for $100, you slab it for $30. It almost becomes a $250, $225 card just because you add the slab to it. That's kind of where the market is at because stuff is so cheap. You could still do that, or you can do that again when you couldn't do it there for a long stretch of time.
I can't pull chat up, but Michael Stone asks, and I assume you are, judging by the way that you ordered those comments, are you still using DC Sports for your consignment?
Yes, I have for my last 2 consignments, and I'm not sponsored by them or anything. They're just fairly close to me. Like if I send a package to them priority mail, I get it within they get it within a day usually. And if
I've been thinking about sending them some stuff.
Right. And when I cash out from them, like I can choose, you can choose wire transfer, PayPal, whatever. I usually just choose a paper check, and it's UPS to me within a day. So if I paper check today, if I ask for a paper check, I'll get it in the mail tomorrow. Then I just got to take it to the bank. But that's one reason why I used them, because they were local, super simple. I will say on my second consignment order with them, I had to send them a couple messages because it felt like tracking said my package was still in their mailbox. So this is where I can talk honestly about somebody because I'm not sponsored or anything. But I sent a package to them, and it got to the mailbox, and I checked the tracking on it, and it said it had been sitting in their PO box for like 3 days and nobody had picked it up. So then I'm messaging them, hey, my package, what's up? Because from the time your package arrives to them, if you send them 20 cards or less, they'll have it uploaded within 2 days. Now, if it's more than 20 cards, it's like 11 days. So that's why I send my cards in groups of 20, and I might send my cards to them 3 days apart from each other. But instead of sending one big 60 card lot, I'll send them 20. 2 days later, I'll send them 20 so that they get uploaded really quickly. But yeah.
Do you have a show coming up? By the way, your video quality looks 100 times better.
Yeah, I know. Did you get a new
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you're good.
All right, cool.
What's your next show? What do you got, like a little Charlotte thing coming up or something, or Raleigh or whatever it is, or what do you got? Something
I don't know. Yeah, the Raleigh show just happened. So I think, but it's honestly, it's like every 6 to 8 weeks. So I'll probably just go to the Raleigh show. I'm just kind of focused right now on just like Breeze PC stuff. I think I'm just going to hold out because a lot of the stuff that I'm looking for is like stuff that's fairly attainable outside of a few things that are low numbered or whatever. But I mean, it's fairly like, like the Bart Starr rookie card is one that I want. They're out there, it's not like, is that thing going to skyrocket in 6 months? I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I'll probably just wait, so I think that's kind of where I'm at with like big purchases and stuff. If something does come across where it just seems like a great deal, then great. But outside of that, I think I'm just going to kind of like sit tight for a little bit. So I do want to go to shows, but like the local show, I take my youngest son there. I take Lynx there to get like Pokemon cards and stuff. So it's kind of like killing 2 birds with 1 stone because he also really enjoys it too. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. That's kind of my attitude. I don't know. You guys probably already talked about it, and I missed all of your answers on this.
Steve gave his, and then I pivoted to you before I answered, so you're fine.
Oh, okay. All right, good. I didn't miss yours then.
I think mine, I'm about 85% locked in, and I probably need to get this locked in because it's next week. I'm pretty sure I'm going to New York City Comic Con.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So are you more pivoting towards, not that you haven't already been in comics, because I know that you have, but is that just kind of more of a focus now over cards right this second?
I mean, I kind of go in phases. it was kind of a perfect storm with, the sports card stuff starting to feel a little, I think we've all been feeling a little bit of burnout to some degree or another. And then, Spider-Man Metal came out, and I've never ever stopped buying comic books. So it was kind of a good timing to kind of dive in. And not to your degree, but as we both know, Dustin, I've been dabbling in the Stranger Things stuff as well, post-National. So like between that, Spider-Man Metal, I've never really stopped looking at comic books.
And some Magic too.
Yes, sealed only though. I'm still watching that as well. I'm not buying singles of that, at least not yet. But I've had NYCCC on my radar for a while. And my wife and I usually like to try to go somewhere in October, and she loves New York City, and we have never been there together. She's been there. We've been there independently, but we've never been there together. So we're going to go and do like a long weekend, do probably a day or two at the con, and then do like a day or two just bumming around the city, sightseeing and stuff. So it's going to be a little combo tax write-off / vacation.
Nice. Yeah. So,
but I think you've met Justin before, and I don't remember if you've ever been on with Norin, aka Sketch Card Hive. He works at CGC now.
Yeah, I've met him before. I met all of them at which show was it? Which show was it? Atlanta, where we Atlanta.
So he works for CGC now. I think me and Justin might do something in their booth, like rip a box of Spider-Man Metal or something. I don't know. The details are still sparse, but I'm trying to lock that in. So we'll see what happens.
Cool. Good deal. Let me see if I can. Oh, I can do this on my phone. Nice. All right, I can pull up comments. All right, what is your guys' preferred grading company for autos? I feel like this is a trap question. I'm going to answer it anyway. So my channel is sponsored by SGC, so I, whatever, like take that with what it is. I like all the companies, really, to be honest. But what I do try to do, though, is I do like the fact that the SGC 10 grade comes with it. It's just kind of an automatic thing. If it's a 10 grade, then they go ahead and put the auto grade on with the grade of the card. And I like the look of the tux, but that's just me. I also like, for certain things, I think, though, depending if, I know a strategy too, and I've looked at this for some of my Stranger Things auto stuff, is if it's a little bit of a streaky auto, then I might go to PSA just to get the card grade and then just get an authentic auto grade. Just get an authentic, or maybe even a PSA 9 auto grade, but at least just get the authentic autograph grade with the card grade. I've contemplated doing that, on some of the autos that are not, fantastic, so I think it probably
rough.
What's that?
Some of those Stranger Things autos are a little rough.
They are. Yeah. So, and they're really limited too. So it's kind of tricky. It's not like, even like Hopper autos and Dustin Henderson autos were redemptions, so it's like, there's just not a lot of options. And if they didn't, if they didn't like sign it very well, then you're just kind of at the whim of that. So, it is what it is. But I think there's different strategies for that. What do you guys think about auto grading?
I'm usually PSA if it's for flip, and I prefer CSG for PC stuff.
How does CSG, do they do an auto grade the same way? Like, how do they do that?
On the back. Let me find my Griffey.
I don't know if I've seen that yet.
So they put it on the back.
Oh yeah, I think we've seen the Griffey at the National, right?
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. So kind of like BGS a little bit.
Yeah.
And
which
by the way,
I'm not really that big on
BGS
auto grade. But if you're selling a PSA 10 is still going to outsell, you know what I mean? If you're just grading the flip, a PSA 10 is going to matter more than what the auto grade's at. You know what I mean? Like the card grade, if it grades a PSA 10, that's going to matter more than an auto 8, 9, or 10, 9 times out of 10. So if you're
what's your take on that, Steve? Do you have an opinion?
I feel like if the auto grade isn't a 10, that hurts the card, regardless of the condition of the card. Most of the time when you're buying an autograph card, you're buying it for the autograph, not for the card, right? So if not, you would just buy a regular card without an autograph on it. So the autograph is technically what is making that card special. So I tend, at least in my personal view, I prefer the 10 auto, regardless of what the card grade is, or over the grade of the card. If it's
I'm kind of with you. I'm with you on that, Steve, to the sense, especially when you're looking at athletes, because if you're looking at Larry Bird autos, Larry Bird signed a zillion things. So it's like, if it's not a 10 auto, then it's like, all right, well, I can just go find like however many like more are out there. Plenty,
Yeah.
So I agree with you.
I would prefer a card graded a 9 with an auto 10 over a card graded a 10 with an auto 9. Now, that being said, if the card is graded a 10 without an auto grade on it, then people are just going to look at the auto and judge it for themselves. And the card itself, the card grade itself is going to draw the value. I've had that experience before where I didn't have the auto grade on a card, and the person that I was selling it to looked at it and was like, well, this auto is clean. So they didn't really care to see the auto grade on it. Now, what I prefer to use for myself is going to vary from card to card, thick stock cards, jersey patches or whatever with autos on them. I'm still a BGS person for that. I still think BGS is the most highly respected when it comes to memorabilia, and memorabilia and autos go hand in hand. So I still think BGS is, they've had their problems with being shut down with communication and things like that. But, and that's hurt. That's hurt their cards, but their auto cards I still think hold strong like that. And then if it's stuff that's not commonly graded, such as a lot of stuff that I buy, you talked about Stranger Things. I have a bunch of Game of Thrones autographs. I would send them to a company like SGC because it's going to be cheap. The autograph grade is going to be free. And there's not a lot of stuff out there graded. There's not a lot of Kit Harington autographs on the market. So the slab isn't going to affect the value of it as much because there's not slab competition. That's the thing I always look at. Slab competition. Is there lots of this card across all the companies? Because then people's going to go to typically the higher value company, which right now is PSA. If there's not a lot of that slab competition out there, people got to buy it in the slab that it's in. So that's when I look at that and I'm like, hey, this is the company I'm going to go with based on the competition in slab.
One thing, let me add to with the autos that I've run into with SGC, be careful with inscriptions. I really like autos that have inscriptions. I think it makes it unique, especially when, like we talk about, athletes sign a lot of stuff. But where I don't get the 10 auto grade with SGC, a lot of times there's an inscription. So, I mean, yeah, if it's streaky, sometimes I won't get it. But if there's an inscription, I have not yet gotten, I probably sent 4 or 5 autos that have Hall of Fame 1977 for Tony Dorsett. Did not inscription just because there's a lot of writing on it. So I would just watch that. If you're sending to SGC for that 10 auto grade, the inscription, they might ding you on that. I don't know if the case for a few cards.
Okay.
All right, football season. Steve, your Dolphins are 3-0. Did you already buy Super Bowl tickets or what? Or are you just
no Super Bowl?
Wait
yeah,
a couple more weeks and then go ahead and deposit down?
We'll wait it out. We'll see what's left. Where is the Super Bowl being held this year? First of all, I'm not even sure of the location. Does anybody know the location?
I don't, off the top of my head.
Somebody in the chat has to know the location of the Super Bowl. I don't know.
So chat will catch up in a minute.
We beat Cincinnati this week on a Thursday night.
Oh, wait, we got 3 answers. Oh, 2 answers.
Oh, I don't know. I actually don't know.
Arizona. Arizona seems
is
to
it
be winning.
Glendale? Maybe chat knows.
Yeah, it's probably where the Cardinals play.
Yeah,
Scottsdale.
I can't place it. Also, just on that note, is Tua going to survive the season?
He should. I mean,
is it Glendale, Arizona?
I don't know where we're at. We're in the remix. I'm like in the.
What
is in like slow motion?
What do you think about Tua making it through the season when he was
okay, that's the second time.
Yeah, like he.
What's happening, Steve?
I don't know. Dustin's in the upside down. Dustin blinks some lights. Yeah, we need to communicate with lights.
Oh my goodness. All right, well, I'll ask you: is Tua going to survive the season? I saw he's already questionable for Thursday.
Well, he's questionable because of coming out of the Bills game, but he completed the rest of that Bills game. So, and you know how many players are going to have the questionable tag all year, because it's almost a strategy nowadays to keep a player questionable and another team guessing on whether or not they're going to play. So if you play fantasy football, you know that. But I think Tua and Jalen Waddle, they're talking about an issue with him. I think they'll both play.
Oh, there he goes. Let me rephrase this question, or let me ask you this question then. Tua, if you had Tua stuff, are you buy, sell, or hold week 3.5 of the NFL season?
Of course, this question is going to depend on when I bought, right? But
let's assume you're up. You bought Tua maybe before the Tyreek Hill trade, or you got a good deal at the National or whatever. Are you taking your profits now that he's had a couple good weeks, or are you riding it out till the Super Bowl?
Well, see, being a Dolphins fan, that's tougher to answer than if it was any other quarterback. Still, okay, when I buy a card, I always have an end game. I'm talking about things in my next video about end game exit strategies. But so if my end game was sell this card, if this happens, then I'm selling it. I don't stray, because once you start to stray, once you start to get greedy, once you start to hold and stray from your plan, is a lot of times when things can go south. Even if you're looking, it doesn't matter how good he's doing. Typically, week 6 of the NFL football season, NFL cards tend to start losing a lot of steam. But you know, as a fan favorite, depending on what I had, I might want to keep a card or two for myself for my collection. But you know, going in, I'm probably buying Tua with that as a backup plan because he's on my favorite team. It's easier for me to answer this question actually as a Dolphins fan than if it was another. I mean, if these other players, I'm going to have to sell them and take my profits, because if I get stuck with them, I'm stuck with players I don't necessarily care for. But with Tua, if I get stuck with Tua, it's not as bad. However, I hardly ever stray from a plan from when I buy a card. It just leads to bad habits.
Dusty being roasted in the chat for your wonderful internet.
I know. This is a first. I mean, I saw like, hey, disconnect stuff from the Wi-Fi. I'm not even on the Wi-Fi right now, and I can't stay connected. So this is a new one for me.
Just blame the hurricane that's like 3,000 miles from you.
I mean, I've been online all day, and just when I get on the live stream, it just goes crazy.
So what do you think? I was thinking of this today because I was getting ready to ship them stuff. What do you think CGC's and CSG's hurricane prep looks like? Because they're in Sarasota. That's like just south of Tampa.
Yeah, they're not too far. Well, so CSG is in a worse spot than SGC, which is good because I have a package on the way.
I said CSG and CGC.
Oh, got you. Yeah, I have a package on the way to SGC, and now I just had a heart attack thinking about my package going through that.
Well, they could get hit too, right? I mean, they're East Coast, but I'm sure that stuff can get screwed up. I mean, it's got to get through the storm to get there.
I used to live literally right down the street from CSG. Yeah, that's actually a good point. I don't know. I mean,
they've dealt with it before. They've been in Florida for like 30 years. It's not like it's a new problem, but like I have to imagine that they have quite the process for that, because this probably isn't the first.
Yeah. The thing that's weird though about Sarasota is, and it's part of the reason why I think it was Barnum and Bailey Circus, they chose Sarasota as their headquarters, because that was the part of the state that really doesn't get touched. And it really doesn't. I mean, there's not really any like major hurricanes that have blown through Sarasota, in like 100 years, knock on wood.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to get missed on this one. Yeah, I was literally putting an order together, another bulk order that I want to send down there. I was starting to get stuff together, and then I was like, maybe I'll wait till next week to mail that. I'm not so much worried about like their location. I'm worried about like it getting hung up somewhere and just sitting
right,
like in no man's land in the USP or UPS or USPS zone, and then it's like, oh Lord.
And I think too that they're in Lakewood Ranch area, which is not close to the beach. Like it's literally like 40 minutes from the beach.
Garrett brings a good point. I didn't even think about that. eBay authentication goes to CSG. That's going to be interesting. Don't buy any rock cards, ladies and gentlemen.
Did you say ranch?
Huh?
Did I hear the word ranch somewhere?
Yeah, Lakewood Ranch and hot sauce.
Oh, yeah.
I did not even think about the fact that they're used for authentication. That's going to be interesting. I saw their offices are closed today and tomorrow for prep. And then who knows what will happen after that.
Yeah.
Or if that's something like eBay can flip the switch off for like a weekend, or if they've even thought about it.
Yeah, eBay authentication is interesting.
I actually have not had to go through it yet.
I did have one that was rejected, a card that I bought, and it was rejected because they put the wrong number on it. So it was like number 7 out of 10, and the card it was listed number 2 out of 10. So I waited 2 weeks. I didn't get the card. I still wanted the card, so it's like it's back and forth, crazy. So we'll see. We will see.
I've been liking their, I've done a bunch of videos on it, but their slabs for Marvel stuff is fantastic. The CGC slabs. Like, I freaking love these things. They look so good.
Well, especially if you're a comic book person, that label is something that you're used to.
Yeah, they just look fantastic in these slabs.
It's funny though. Does it look fantastic because you're used to the comic book label? Probably. Like if you didn't have that background, because I think if you're not a comic book person, you might look at that and be like, meh, like the label's okay.
Yeah. You're probably 100% right. Like, I'm just so used to looking at that label that it's like second nature. Like, to see Spider-Man with that label above it is just like, oh yeah, that's exactly what that's supposed to look like.
What do you think, just kind of on that Marvel card thing, because that's that new Marvel or that new metal set was really popular, Rob. Is there another set coming out like that's like Marvel card people are looking for? Is that something that is like, or and I guess my other question on the back of that is, do you think that it's going to get like too played out? Like the metal, the PMGs, like, are we going to have new PMGs every year? Like, and then does that just kind of dilute the whole thing? Or like, what's your take on that?
So first question first, what's the next set? That's a tricky one because Upper Deck's release schedule's a disaster. They don't really like tell you what's coming when. It's really bad. Like, we didn't know Spider-Man Metal was releasing until like a week before it actually came out. We didn't have a firm date on it. Right now, it's looking like the next set is probably going to be a Lure, which is an MCU set. So it'll be like actor photos. So that won't have as much hype behind it. The next big non-MCU set is probably going to be Fleer Ultra Avengers, with a nebulous date on when that comes out, hopefully by the end of the year. And then there's Marvel Beginnings, which is a little bit of a lower end product, but we don't have a sell sheet for that yet, so we don't even know what the cards look like. So it's probably going to be Fleer Ultra Avengers, which will not have PMGs, but will have jambalayas.
What about on the sports card side? Because I know that Panini doesn't really have a whole lot, or I guess what I'd heard is they don't have a whole lot like towards the end of the year, at least not yet. I don't know if anything's been added, but like, what's the next sports card release that everybody's excited about? I don't really pay as much attention to like the new release stuff until it's happening.
Probably be like NBA hoops, honestly, for the new rookie class. Or we'll probably be getting Flawless for football at some point in time. I don't think that's come out yet, has it? I don't think we have Flawless yet. Flawless is usually the last set released.
Wait, is there Trevor Lawrence Flawless stuff, or do you mean like this draft class?
No, there's past, because we're still getting like,
is there Trevor Lawrence Flawless already, or is it just NT?
Yeah, I'm talking like for the because we just got like select and stuff.
Okay.
But I don't know beyond that. For me personally, it would be like when the new NBA product comes out. But there's not even like, this draft class is good, but it's not. It's like big man heavy. Like, Chet's already out for the season, so it's kind of like, when one of your top 3 picks is already done for the year before the season even starts. That's not good. Pablo,
what are you guys doing for
kind of like big men? So
both of you are basketball guys. What are you doing as far as like, I don't think the last 2 draft classes are not as, exciting as the 2 previous to that, with Zion Ja and Trey and Luka. Are you going back to that stuff, or are you speculating on some of the new stuff, or like what are you doing there?
I think last year's draft class was amazing.
So that's what you're doing.
I think people are sleeping on that draft class. That draft class is absolutely loaded. Like I'm baffled. People say it all the time. It's just because those guys don't sell for like Anthony Edwards and John Zion prices, but that draft class is absolutely amazing. Like Cade is really, really good. Jalen is could be really, really good. Evan Mobley is really, really good. Scotty Barnes is really good. Like there's a lot of guys, if you like dig down in that draft class, that had really good years that were pretty low lottery picks.
What about you, Steve?
For me, for basketball, I'm not touching anybody that's probably been in the league less than 10 years. You know, if I could find some deals on some Giannis stuff, that would be it. I see that Steve Splenda is blasting KD, but if I could find some deals on a couple decent cards, I would. But you know, I think players like that, especially with prices coming down, to me is the way to go. I'm not much into modern or ultra modern. You know, of course, Jason Tatum's always on my radar because he plays for the Celtics, but what is his expectations going to be now? You know, right? They went to a NBA Finals. So anything but a finals is a bust now. Plus, they don't have a head coach this year. So it's like, is that team going to be a lot different? So I'm going with the guys who have a safer basement, you know, safer, not safe. There's no such thing as safe, but have a safer basement than others. So,
I think
yeah.
Excuse me. I think the big trick is to not. You just got to find guys that have not broke out yet, like cheap value plays. Like,
yeah, and if you really
like post type sleepers, like go look at like Patrick Williams for the Bulls, who was kind of hyped but then got hurt for a whole season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's the guy that always comes to the top of my mind. But you could like Jalen Suggs. I'm not a big Jalen Suggs guy, but same thing. He was a top 5 pick, played mess / was hurt most of last season. Like you could get those guys' stuff dirt cheap. So if it pops, it pops. If it doesn't pop, then maybe you're out like a couple bucks. You know,
right?
I think it's more those like buy a silver prism raw for 10 or 15 bucks of a guy that's like, you know, kind of whatever, and maybe sell it for 50 versus buying a $500 PSA 10 of someone and trying to get 550 for it if they have a good week.
Yeah, and I still think one of the most you know, I still think there's a lot of upside to Zion cards, but I also think that there's as much downside as there upside. So even though I think that if you're a big time gambler and you wanted to gamble, I still think he's got upside gamble. But you know, when you lose,
the pump's already starting with him based off media day.
I don't own any Zion cards now. I actually got out of my Zion card at the National because I didn't want to hold him really any longer because he was kind of buzzy at the National. So, but he's just always going to be that type of player where coming into a season, there's going to be a lot of buzz around him until he's absolutely a superstar or absolutely written off. And nobody knows yet which way that's going to go.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about just how much is out there. I know it's kind of talked to death, but you know what? Talked about it on the video the other day. Trevor Lawrence has 5,000 different rookie cards. You know, if you include all the parallels, I mean, how are you supposed to get excited about that? Like, you know, which ones are going to be important? How is the demand going to meet that? You know, I mean, like, it's like not only do you have to get the player right, but then, you know, you have the supply that's just so wild. So he has to be amazing, but even then he's got to overcome that massive supply. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know how that math works out.
I mean, it's not like this is, you know, probably worth a video at some point in time, but like, I don't know, go look at like what Albert Pujols stuff was, and this is baseball to basketball, but still, like Pujols just hit 700 home runs, has an insane career, and like go look at what his rookie card stuff sells for compared to Soto, Tatis, pick your flavor of guy, and you can apply the same thing in basketball too. And it's and the pop counts on that stuff are like a fraction of what. You don't have a ton of options, so it's not like there's a ton of cards out there, and they sell for way less than the modern stuff does. So, I mean, I think we all know, we've all said in some shape or form, like modern's basically just a game of hot potato, essentially.
Yeah.
Like none of this stuff is probably going to hold. I shouldn't say none, but like
I think the
95% of this stuff is not going to hold long-term value, probably.
And I think the problem with a lot of it, stuff that's overvalued, is people are buying the card and not the player on the card. They look at something and they're like, oh, that's a kaboom. That's automatically worth money. Doesn't matter who's on the front, right? Or this is a National Treasures RPA. It doesn't matter who's on the front. It's a National Treasures RPA. And I think a lot of people have fallen victim to that. I saw a card the other night. I'm not going to say what the card is because it's a rare card and you might actually be able to find the seller. But I saw a card listed for $2,500 that was a Mitchell Trubisky. And I'm like, in what world is any card? I don't care if it's a one of one, life story, whatever. It could be whatever it is. In what world is any Mitchell Trubisky card valued at $2,500? I don't care unless it's printed on, 24 karat gold or platinum with diamonds or something in it. But I mean, a card itself, I don't care if it's a one of one quadruple patch autograph, whatever. In what world do we say, hey, the player on there isn't worth that much? I don't care what the card is, right?
Yeah. Like, well, the player's average, but it's a sick card, $2,000. I mean, it's like, okay, interesting. Yeah, I think they're going to really test that, though. When you have the triple logo man going for a couple $1,000,000 and it's 3 random jerseys from championship seasons. I mean, come on, man. That's where I'm never going to let that die. It's just so bad. So bad. Cool card, but I mean, there should be more of a story. There should be like the jerseys he actually won the finals in or whatever the hell. Should have more of a story to it.
Go to a big card show and go through the bargain bins and look at how many auto jersey patches are in bargain $5 and $10 bargain bins of miscellaneous players, and say this is an absolutely great card, but it's $10 because of the person that's on it. It doesn't matter that it's a one of one, NFL shield or something. It's $10 because of the person that's on it, and that right now. I mean, just look at the cards that you can find in bargain bins and then look at some of the stuff that's priced as is today and say how much of this stuff is going to end up in one of these boxes 10 years from now.
Oh, I didn't know Brad was coming on the channel tonight.
Yeah, we got spritz. Little spritz.
I hope that
she bit through the internet cord. She bit through the internet cord outside. She was like, I'm the captain now. I'm the captain now.
She's running the stream. One of my biggest wishes for Fanatics coming in is I hope we get dated game used cards. Like, here's the patch, here's what game it was from, here's what the player did in that game. Because they do that. Topps does that now with Topps Dynasty, not on every card, but on some cards. It'll come with a little authentication sticker that says exactly what day that the game was from. I hope like whatever Fanatics high-end product is, that they roll that out with their, they have the memorabilia leverage. I don't see any reason why they can't.
I saw a question or a comment or a question from me from Phoenix Rising way back asking me about DeAndre Hunter stuff. I did sell all my DeAndre Hunter stuff a while back. I think when the Atlanta playoffs were going well, when they upset the Sixers or whatever, I only own one DeAndre Hunter card now. So
he'd be another guy I put on that list though from earlier. I bet you could probably buy his silvers for probably nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And if he came out and had a pretty good week, it doesn't. When those guys are priced so cheap, it just doesn't take much to make $10 on a $10 card. A $10 card going to $20 is a lot easier to happen. It's not as sexy. It's not as fun. You're not going to make a bunch of YouTube videos about it. You're not going to be Kenny Fornos, but I think that's the grind now. It's gone
percentage
back to what it was.
Yeah, percentage gain is always higher on cheaper cards. It doesn't take much to get 100% return on a $10 card, right? As opposed to a $1,000 card that might go up $200. And then you're looking at your risk reward. You're not getting the percentage return, at least on your gamble, for my liking.
I think stuff like that and Rod of Grade is 100% back. I've had a blast
setting
that CGC bulk submission and getting that Marvel stuff back and working my way through it has been a ton of fun.
Yeah, raw to grade is a big option right now. It's one of the best again. It was always one of the best until the grading companies were phased out temporarily and pricey. You really had to hit on your grades at some of these prices or your percent.
When you use on the SGC for $30 and get it back in 3 days, or my CGC submission took a week for $15 bulk.
I mean, if you coat everything in hot sauce before sending it in, you're guaranteed to get good grades. But
pristine. Get those SGC 10 gold labels.
yeah, right. But yeah, and I've always been I just always like to buy and sell the stuff that nobody else is buying and selling, because there's collectors out there, and when you limit your competition as a salesperson, it may take you a little bit longer to find the demographic of who's going to buy your card, but you're going to eventually sell it for more because you don't have anybody else selling the same card.
Yeah, and you actually make a good point too about there's just a lot of stuff, like the companies have graded a lot of cards, but there is a lot of stuff they have not graded. So when you think about, all the different variations of cards, the music cards, the non-sports, or even just kind of like off the wall sports or whatever, and even some fairly decent sized sports, there's just not a lot of graded stuff out there. So there are opportunities. They're just in, pockets for sure.
I had a non-card soccer order come back that was probably 16 months since it had gotten sent in. At least a month, at least a year and 4 months. It could have been longer, but I finally got them back and got some really good grades. And I was looking at some of the prices that I bought some of this stuff for, and like, it doesn't really matter what I sell these cards for. I'm going to come out on top because a lot of it's not graded. A couple of them really, what I would consider to be collector's pieces, and but they're soccer. I don't know. I'm not in the loop of, the people who are buying and selling soccer. So I would just have to put it on eBay and hope the right person saw them. But I think I have them. I'll show them real quick, because actually I was shooting my video for this PSA return when everything happened, the whirlwind of me getting sick and my brother and all that. And so I shot the video, most of it, and then I never got around to editing it. Then it just got old, so it just sits in my archives, basically. It was a 2003. And if you're a soccer person, only soccer people going to know who this is. This is a Kaká, but this is a sticker that came back, a Gem Mint 10 on a 2003. So this is like a pop 3. These stickers just don't grade well. And this is the 1998 World Cup of Ronaldo R9, and this came back in a Gem Mint 10. So I bought 3 of these in a lot for $60, $20 a piece. And I SGC'd the 2 that didn't look as good and got like 8s. And the one that looked really good, I sent the PSA through Sunday League Investors and got a 10 on it. It's a pop 5. And like I said, this one's a 3. And this was like $25 to $30 I paid for this sticker here. But now this sticker, if I put a low price tag on it, probably $400 to $500. There's one of these listed on eBay right now. Buy it now for $4K. But I know that that's not worth that much. That's why it's sitting on eBay and hasn't been bought. But could I reasonably get $1,000 for this? Probably. And for what I spent on it, it's a good.
Yeah. So there's people, there's money to be made in cards, just pockets. There's pockets out there. You got to just kind of search and dig around.
Yeah, those are the types of items that I don't know if I want to let them go on eBay, because if the right person doesn't see it, it's like, okay, it goes to auction and it sells for $400, right? Which is still a win. I'm in $60. I bought 3 of them, and I sold the other 2 off, but I'm in $20 plus grading fees on that one. So it's still a huge win. But, you always want to maximize your margins. So that's why I haven't consigned those or anything. I'm just posting on my Instagram every now and then, see if I get the right direct, the right message return from somebody who's interested in it. Actually, when I posted the picture of the Ronaldo on Instagram, PWCC, who I don't even have an account with them since they left eBay. I bought stuff from PWCC when they were on eBay, but ever since the eBay ban and things like that, I don't even have an account with them. But it's the first and only Instagram post that they've ever liked of mine. So maybe they were trying to say, hey, we'd like to have that in our soccer auction, which would probably be the best place for it because people specifically go to their soccer auctions to find rare soccer items as opposed to throwing it on, you know. But I've never used PWCC, and I don't know how. And plus, you know, I don't know. They've had some shade with them and things like that. So
I've bought from them. I've never sold with them.
Yeah.
What do you think about? I saw a comment about the new, what is it? The Wolverine trailer or what? The announcement? Not Daredevil. Who's the other guy?
Deadpool?
Yeah, Deadpool. Are you all pumped up about that, Neo?
I'm very excited.
Oh yeah, I saw that on Instagram. Hugh Jackman. Have you been buying those, or is that kind of a new thing? The actor autos.
No, I bought this probably almost a year ago from Kenny Fornos, actually.
Oh, okay.
I bought this
after Atlanta, right?
Yeah, it was right after Atlanta, actually.
I remember he had it, and then you had it.
And then we negotiated for it after Atlanta. No, I've always liked the actor auto stuff. Yeah, I got the Pedro Pascal. I actually bought, well, it hasn't shipped yet, so I don't want to jinx it. I got a Boba Fett one the other day. I'm still hunting a Harrison Ford. That's like the number one thing on my list right now is a Harrison Ford auto.
Han Solo?
Specifically Han Solo, one of the stellar ones. Someone's selling one, but we can't agree on a price. Like, we're too far apart.
Are these newer sets that are pack pulled, or are they like older ones?
So Stellar, which is what my Pedro Pascal one is, this is like the premier Star Wars autograph set. These are sold in a case. Like, you buy a case, and it's like they're like $15,000 or $20,000, I think. But you get the entire set. The thing is that there's like parallels of each card. There's like a blue out of 20, a green out of 25, a base out of 40. You don't know which one you're getting. So when you open up the set, you're going to get all, let's call it 50 cards. You're going to get the complete set, all on-card autos. You just don't know what version you're going to get. Like, you can get the 101 Harrison Ford, or you can get the out of 40 Harrison Ford. And then there's like some sketch stuff in there and stuff like that. So it's not like you're pulling it from packs, but that's like the ultra high-end Star Wars.
Is that a Topps product?
Yeah.
Did they sell it online only? Do you know?
I don't remember on Stellar.
I'm
never gonna buy a $15,000 case of.
No, because I asked just because Stranger Things kind of did that with their season 3. They didn't call it season 3, but it's their 2020. It's just an autograph set that they sold online only, and I guess it sold out really fast. So, but it's not high end it wasn't high end like that. It wasn't like a $15,000 case or anything, but it was similar in that, you know, it would be like numbered out of 50, numbered out of 25, or out of 10 or 5 or whatever. So,
but yeah, cool. Stellar's regarded as the premium. It varies every year. Like, they have a different lineup of actors. Like, Harrison Ford wasn't in the. I think Harrison Ford was a redemption in the last one, but they're pretty much all on-card autos. I think the rumor might be that the set's going away because I think it's pretty tough for them to produce because all on cards.
What's your take on kind of? It's funny because we're all sports card guys, but then we have been buying a bunch of like culture cards, if you will.
I think all of us have dabbled in that for quite a while. It's not like
it's not a brand new thing. Yeah, it's not a brand new thing. But what is your kind of feeling as far as not even necessarily just Zero Cool, but Zero Cool obviously kind of being like in the like front and center just because that's what they're focused on. What's kind of your take on just that being part of like trading cards moving forward? I mean, do you think it'll have kind of do you think it'll gain popularity? The thing that's funny about trading cards is just like, if you look back, like when we were kids, like no one really gave a damn about football and basketball cards until like 1989, you know, when they came out with certain sets. And even still now, I mean, it's obviously basketball is now front and center, but like back then nobody cared about basketball cards, and now basketball cards are the thing. So, you know, like in 20 years, is there going to be more of a, you know, is there going to be kind of more diversity and all that? Like people are into all the stuff.
There could be. I think Zero Cool is going to be like very targeted in what it goes after. Like, I don't think you're going to see, like, Topps has Star Wars. I don't think you're going to see a Zero Cool Topps or a Zero Cool Star Wars set. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more like one-offs or new things. I think the key to Zero Cool is how quick can they spin it up? You know, if a show kind of comes out of nowhere, like obviously Stranger Things, everyone knows it's a huge thing. But let's say I saw people talking about it in chat earlier. Let's say like the Last of Us show ends up being like really, really good and people like it and it like really catches fire. Is that going to be something that if a show takes off like that they could like spin up and get a set out while it's still like top of mind of everybody? Or is it going to take like a year and a half before that can come out?
Well, and I think too
that's
Stranger
the key.
That Stranger Things season 4 set is going to be interesting because it's going to come out at some point, like what, 6 or 7 months after the show is over. So, I mean, what if it doesn't sell? You know, what I mean, like that'll kind of show us, I guess, a little bit as to, you know, do people really want it?
Yeah.
And is it a good
now
set?
So now they know there's a season 5, obviously. Like if they get into another agreement with them and this one does sell well, do they get like a tip or a lead on, hey, you probably want to make this card of this character because, you know, something may happen with them or whatever. So now that they could get that set out the door quicker when season 5 comes, like if say they do a season 5 set, you know, could they release that like a week after the show airs or right in the middle of it while Netflix drops everything at once, but like, you know, somewhere right around the release, can they time that window better?
I
think
really like
real cool though is catching whatever the next thing is that takes off. Can they sneak in there, get a deal done, and get product to market quick? I think that's the key to Zero Cool.
I think with Zero Cool, it's going to be the popularity of said set that they're going to produce, you know, whether it's Stranger Things or Jackass, you know, whatever. And it's also going to be the exclusiveness that it is to Zero Cool. So is Stranger Things going to be exclusive to that because it's been being made by Topps? I guess Topps is bought by Fanatics. So, but are they going to print multiple products of Zero Cool? Are they going to print it through their Topps line and through their Zero Cool line or whatever? Kind of like we see multiple different basketball products come out. Will there be multiple different Stranger Thing products come out? I don't know the answers to that. I will tell you my experience as someone who likes to buy and collect Tony Hawk cards. Tony Hawk did have a card in the Zero Cool set. He had a couple different autographs. They were all numbered. However, it's a lot cheaper to buy those than it is to buy, say, his Allen and Ginter on-card autos or his Upper Deck Goodwin's Champion on-card autos. Those still draw about 3x the value of his Zero Cool on-card autos. And some of them are, you know, numbered out of 10, numbered out of 15, different refractor colors, and they are on card. It's a nice looking card, but people still prefer the others. Now that could be because they're older, closer to what would be a rookie autograph. But, you know, as someone who's experienced buying Tony Hawk cards from the Zero Cool product, they're cheaper than buying Allen and Ginter autographs, which I've also bought. So, you know, I don't know. You know, so it comes down to the exclusiveness of it. If Tony Hawk was only exclusive to this one thing, they would probably be more valuable. But people prefer them right now in the other cards.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. It's funny too with the Stranger Things, like the actor autos that are just the actor autos that are not tied to like the show, they don't sell nearly as well as the autos that are tied to the Topps brand stuff, like the Stranger Things stuff, which is just interesting. Because if you're after just like an autograph of the actor, it's there, but they just don't sell.
People want it tied to their favorite character. I mean, I see it like when I look at Harrison Ford stuff. It's just like there's plenty of Harrison Ford autos in like Leaf Pop Century. They sell for like $500, $400. But if you put them dressed up as Han Solo, it's a $2,000 card.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like, you know what I mean?
It's kind of like the guy that plays the Mandalorian, what's his name, Pedro Pascal.
That's who I was showing his card earlier.
If he had a Thrones auto as Oberyn Martell, it's probably not as expensive as his Mandalorian auto.
I bet you that one would still be pretty pricey. That was a pretty popular character.
Because he's a, you know, he didn't have much time on the show, but he's a popular actor now from the Mandalorian. So again, it could be people are like, I want his rookie auto. It's a Game of Thrones card, right? But
so the funny part about that is that Eddie from Stranger Things, his first on-card auto is in the Game of Thrones set.
Yes,
yeah.
he was
a random guard in season 8.
Yeah.
So is the Russian guard that was with Hopper that tried to release him, and that guy also jocking a car in Game of Thrones.
But like that wasn't random. He was at least like he was not a main character on Game of Thrones, but he was a named character. Like the Eddie Munson character was literally, I don't even think the guy had a name. It was just like Winterfell guard with ugly hats.
Speaking of that, Steve, what's your plan with like the Game of Thrones autos? Because I've heard of other guys too that are like, I bought a bunch of these Game of Thrones autos, but the reason why I asked that is because you have the new show that's already out. So is there another show that's coming? You know, like, is there like what's on the back of it? Like, are you going to grade all of it and just hold on to it? Are you going to sell it in pieces, or like, what have you thought about that?
I mean, I have 5 or 6 total. Like, I didn't go crazy buying them, and I
thought you had like 20 of them or something.
No, I bought like 6 or 7 of them in one big
okay.
off the same person. I got a good deal because I bought a lot of them, and really, I only focused on the people who actually were in big time impactful cast members. You know, I got the Jon Snow / Kit Harington. I got the Tyrion Lannister / Peter Dinklage. You know, so those were Robb Stark, which is Richard Madden. And I mean, these guys are actually crossing into Marvel now. Richard Madden is a part of the Eternals. Kit Harington's going to be the Black Knight, right? So these guys are just growing in Hollywood as a whole. They've got their starts on Game of Thrones. So I just didn't go and buy every single, hey, this guy was in this season and got killed, or this person played I kind of went with the people
that in that set.
I do have a Macy Williams who was Arya Stark. That was another pretty popular one, but that's kind of it. And the Amelia Clark ones are almost like untouchable. Like, they're so expensive.
That's like Millie Bobby Brown in Stranger Things.
She's like super expensive. And I bought them because my wife and I watch the show and we like it. So I'll get them graded. I don't know really what kind of value they have. I know the last Kit Harington sold raw on eBay for close to $600 like last week. So
that could get a bump because there's rumors that they're going to do another Jon Snow show.
Yeah, they'll continue to pump out storylines just like, Disney does with Star Wars, where they keep doing prequels and sequels and in-betweeners and individual character stories and things like that. They'll do more. There's such huge story gaps from Game of Thrones from where it started with the initial series. I mean, the series that's going on right now is it like 300 plus years before it? I'm not sure how many years before it.
72, I think.
But
if Zero Cool does Napoleon Dynamite autos and stuff, I'll be all over that. That's a classic.
Feels right up their alley.
I'm in that. I'm in that game.
Jackass, anything's on the table.
The thing I think is funny
on
too.
Stranger or Game of Thrones, I would definitely buy a Matt Smith auto as Daemon Targaryen.
Yeah,
he was also
fantastic on that show.
I think he was the villain in Morbius too, right?
I don't remember. He was Doctor Who for a while. That alone would give him a ton of buzz.
But yeah, like a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about is more PC items. This isn't stuff that I'm like, hey, I'm buying these to sell these, because I think they're going to shoot up in value. It's just this stuff that's fun, right? This is the stuff you're not worried about.
Yeah, it's fun.
You're not worried about speculating on a player, whether he booms or busts, or his team wins or loses, or he goes out and tears an ACL, right? You're not worried about any of that stuff.
I was looking at James Earl Jones autos because I saw something where, like, basically, I don't know how they do it these days, but it was like they can take his voice, and now they made a deal with like his estate or something to use his voice like post-mortem if needed or whatever. So like
they have it like all digital now.
He can do they can do a digital voice. So I'm like, this dude's literally going to be doing Darth Vader stuff in 50 years, long after, so I was like, man, what sort of autos are out there? And the real expensive ones were the Star Wars ones. But then there was also like Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Barbarian autos, Conan O'Brien autos.
His, like, all things considered, his Star Wars autos actually seem pretty reasonable. I mean, they're like $1,200 or $1,300. I think.
Not crazy. Like,
when you consider like the fact that he's the voice of Darth Vader and just a general overall iconic actor and like one of the greatest voices of our times in regards to like narration, you know what I mean? Like Field of Dreams and just general, what is he, the voice of CNN or whatever? Like
he's done so much. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Mike Petty said he needs Field of Dreams rookie cards. I don't have Field of Dreams rookie cards, but I have this card that's sitting right here. This is a Bull Durham, Tim Robbins, Luke Lelouch.
You posted that card, and I literally set a save search for that because I love Tim Robbins.
Like 2016 Topps archives or something. So these came out of Topps packs on card auto. There's also
that's what's funny. Like Mike Petty just said, Al Bundy triple auto. Don't you think that if there was an Al Bundy, like if there was a release back in 1990 for Married with Children and there was on-card autos or Jerry Seinfeld or Friends or whatever, like that stuff would be pricey.
Could you imagine what like a Friends booklet would go for? With like
I think it would be crazy expensive. Yeah, I think it would be nuts. I really do.
For Married with Children, I don't think they're on-card autos, but Don Russ Americana has like a dual auto of Ed O'Neill and Katie Seagal. So,
oh, really? That's
yeah.
Cool.
I bet you that still sells for a decent amount, though.
Yeah, it sells for a decent amount, but not what you would think in comparison to the sports card world. You know, it might be $100. You know,
yeah, it's not auto, but I got the Sandlot set at the Shipshawana show. They have an auto version of it, but
my wildest dreams would come true. I see what you did there, Temple Bird.
Gotta get the Wendy Peppercorn PSA 10.
Christina Applegate autos actually sell higher than all the cast members from Married with Children, maybe because her career went on to where she was in tons of stuff.
She's a babe.
Or yeah, because she was hot. I'm not really sure. But.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm down to 10% battery since I've had to be on my phone for the entire time. So I think we should probably wrap here pretty soon. Why don't you throw out something that you would like to see? I'm going to throw out one of these generic questions here. So the economy is going into the absolute gutter. We can all agree on that. Everything is completely falling apart. Crypto zero, stocks zero, real estate zero, card zero. What would you like to see? What would you like to see over the next, for the rest of the year? Like for the rest of the year, what would be a hobby thing that you would like to see or just that you would like to see?
For the rest of the year?
Yeah.
Honestly, this might be a surprising answer to some. I would like to see prices continue to go down. Now, I'm not wishing that to the people who are in over their head or people who are underwater. I'm not wishing a bloodbath on anybody. But that sucks because what I want might cause that for somebody else. But I would like to see prices actually continue to go down because I'm having fun buying and stuff right now.
My answer was going to be the same. I want to see X-Men 1 get cheap enough that I could reasonably afford one. So let it fall.
Yeah, I agree. I think the one thing too that probably everybody can take away that's been in the hobby over the last few years, with any type of hobby, comics or cards or whatever, is we've probably all identified certain cards, like, certain things that we really want. They've been mega expensive, for years. And kind of to that point is like, will there be stuff that gets down far enough to where you can take a shot at it, to where it's like, man, that's something I thought I would never be able to afford. And then you can. So yeah, I'm kind of with you guys on that front. So we've all kind of identified just being in these markets and looking at all this. Yeah, we know the stuff we want. We just can't afford it. So hopefully, I'm speaking for me. You guys, maybe you can, but I'm kind of in that boat.
Yeah, it's crazy to talk about my journey since I became Flipping Steve, right? Because I feel like I'm more of a collector than I am ever now.
When you morphed from a caterpillar to a butterfly and became Flipping Steve.
I feel I was always a collector. Right? I was always a collector when I was younger and stuff. And I almost to a pack rat level where I wouldn't throw anything out. And when I got back in and started selling, Flipping Steve just kind of came out and I was doing all this. And I've done a lot of selling, but it turned me way back into a collector to the point now where I have more cards that I won't sell than I have cards that I will sell. Like this little case right here is stuff that I will sell. This big case here, and this thing is full, it's stuff that I won't sell. So, and it's not that I won't sell it because I'm underwater on it. I won't sell it because I want to keep it for me. So, yeah, it's just crazy.
Answering the chat, let's all hope that we have the benefit that there are Kamala Harris cards that come out this year and all of our dreams can come true. I completely agree. That would just make it all on-card autos of Kamala Harris. Good Lord. All right, guys, let's go ahead and wrap it. My internet is cut. My dog ate the internet cable. I've got to go call the company. Yeah, damn it, Spritz.
Right.
But guys, thanks for coming on. Let's not wait another 6 months or whatever it was. Steve, good to have you back in the game. Thank you for the video today. That was fun to watch. But yeah, let's do this again. Let's try to do it like, more often.
Yeah, definitely. This is the best part about the content is the live streams. So it's like, I love these interaction sessions. It's a lot better than sitting down in a camera and pretending you're talking to people that you hope are going to watch your videos.
That's what me and Rob do every single day. We just pretend we're talking to people.
So the best part is Boardwalk Pizza at 2 a.m. when Steve's only 100 yards down the boardwalk, and then 20 miles later, he's like, "Oh, just a little bit further, guys."
Yeah, he tricked me on that first night. There's a pizza place. It's just right up here on the right. Yeah. Okay,
yeah, you could have freaking warned me because he got me and my wife the next night.
To me, it seems like it's not that far away.
Uh-huh.
Because I've been there so many times. You just
walked 15 miles to the National. I probably already had COVID, and he's like, "Hey, we're just gonna walk right down here to get this slice of pizza." 16 miles later.
Hey man, it made that pizza taste that much better.
Pizza was good. I'm not gonna lie, it tasted pretty good.
It was good. Well, hey, in Chicago, we'll have to go to what was it, Giorgiano's, or what was the deep dish place that was really good right down the street?
I remember which one. I wasn't with you guys. At that.
He wasn't.
I don't remember.
Yeah, we'll have to hit that.
Are we all going to Atlanta again to get some Hattie B's?
Is that February? January, February?
I don't know if I'm going to make it to that. Are you going to the Mint, Dustin? I know we're trying to close up here, but
I don't know. I would like to go, but it's a West Coast trip. Like if it's the East Coast, I go all day. But yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I thought you guys had a pretty good time there last time.
Yeah, we did. It's really good networking and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, if you guys were going, I would absolutely go 100%. Brad will go because it's like a 2-hour drive for him. He's lazy and he's like, I've got nothing better to do, so he'll be there probably.
I am planning on going. I have it blocked off already.
Which one is that?
Yeah,
the Mint.
The Mint. Probably will.
Yeah, I probably won't do Vegas. Yeah, if I was going to be doing
Steve,
Vegas,
you don't want to hang out in a casino? Steve's like, I'm good.
There's a big convention out there for casinos. The October is they always have a convention out there for vendors who have new products to offer, new slot machines, new table games, this, that, and the other. It's huge. And if I was to go out there, it would be for work this month, but I'm trying not to do that.
This is until March. You got plenty of time to figure it out.
Judson, attendees can, you don't have to be a part of the industry at all. Just answering Judson's question there. It's a card show. It's not a big card show. So it's like a small regional show unless they switch it up, unless like this year's they go with a much larger spot, more vendors, which they might do. But last year was kind of a mini card show with a bunch of industry stuff.
I would like to do Atlanta again. It's on my radar, but we have a wedding that we have to travel to around the same time, and that's the only reason why I can't commit. If we didn't have that wedding, I 100% do Atlanta again.
Atlanta was great last time, but I don't know if Atlanta was just the perfect blend because we had the Marvel thing was going on, so all the Marvel guys were there, and us. It was like a whole.
Charles was there, a whole everybody. Yeah.
I don't know if it'll ever be as big as it was that last one. I almost feel like that last one was the perfect Atlanta, especially setting up as a dealer for myself. I mean, I can't top that, right? Like, unless I set up as a dealer again, like that was one of my best experiences of the year. And it was, I don't want to say bucket list, but it was one of my goals of the year. So it's kind of like, it felt good to do it. It was fun. So how do I top that in Atlanta? And as far as the Mint Collective goes, like I'm more into the shows for the cards and the card showroom floor. I don't do a lot of the industry stuff. I barely looked at anything at the National because I just was in the cards. Like I didn't go to hardly any of the setup stations or anything like that.
I was kind of the same. Like I was like, I'll do some content while I'm there. And it was very little. It was more like I'm on a mission to get the cards I want. And I didn't do as much of the networking stuff as I
got a lot accomplished. You got a lot accomplished for yourself and your goals and your list of stuff that you wanted. You did well.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good. Yeah. I definitely Temple Bird. If there are Kip on-card autos, take my money. I want the Kip autos. All right, boys.
After that, you guys will be coming to Cleveland for the National.
All right, we'll stay at Rob's house.
Yeah,
I'm like an hour away, but
it's not too far.
He's like, yeah, it's too far. It's too far. He's already saying no.
I
We
can
got
give
2
you guys all the
years.
good restaurants, but
All right, guys, I'm going to end it before the battery dies and my internet goes out, and the dog's got a knife like right here on my side. So say your prayers. All right, guys. Hey, thanks very much for joining tonight. We will do this again. We will see you next time. Take care.
later, everybody.
See you guys.